Hey everyone, welcome back to the Retro Gamers podcast on iTunes, Spreaker, YouTube if you're watching. Episode 141, Larry here.
And Anthony here.
What is going on, sir?
Oh, it's another gray day in California.
Yeah, and it's a great sunny day here in Long Island. On Long
Yeah,
Island, I guess, technically.
you are on it. You're not in it.
I'm in the trenches.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you were in it, then you might have a problem.
This is true.
But yeah, we're right in the middle here of so California in May and June we have May gray and June gloom. So June is naturally like a rainy month for California, although lately, or at least for Los Angeles, so like last couple of years, I don't think it's been raining all that much in June. However, it's like basically the, dare I say, the calm before the storm, but basically the calm before the heat wave. Because once July hits, we're pretty much gonna burn until November. So.
Man is not designed for heat. I don't care what anybody says.
No, we're not. But dry heat's so dry. I'd rather take the dry heat out here. We can have that argument, but the dry heat is much better.
No, you're right. I remember the first time I went out to Vegas. Actually, the first time we went to Vegas, and it was like 115 degrees, but it was a dry 115. I'm like, I can deal with this.
Yeah.
Where right now I'm starting to soak. Because it's a little warm.
Well, it's the everybody says it's the humidity, and I agree. It's like when you go outside and you feel like you're walking into your oven. Yeah, there's a serious problem.
It's fugly, absolutely.
Yeah, I do not miss it.
No, but sometimes it's good to get that sweat on. And I want to real quick. I just want to mention. I want to kind of pull the curtain back on how we kind of coming up with today's topic, if you will.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I am talking literally hour and a half ago. So I myself personally trying to, kind of get things going, out for a walk, mostly to go drop off my rent, but still out for a stroll. So we were supposed to start at like 9:00. So I texted Anthony and I'm like, and I'm like halfway into this walk, like where I got to my destination was like 20 minutes in, which I was actually kind of shocked I got there that time. So I'm like, Ant, we're going to need some delay, because I'm in the middle of this walk. In which case Anthony responded, okay, no problem, because I'm a little busy myself.
Yeah.
So like, all right, cool. So we were doing, fitness, exercising. So I'm like, all right, cool. And then as I'm walking, I'm like, you know what, Ant, let's talk about, as we're going to in a moment, some of these games that came out that were promoting exercising. And the thing I just want to mention real quick, and then you can comment to get on it, just the pros of it. So Anthony responded to me because, well, I'd like to exercise as well. So I'm like, cool, we'll delay it by an hour. So we'll start at 10:00. Right before we recorded, which I have no problem with. Not that I would. I just find it funny how now you call it exercise. So I'm like, yeah, so you exercise? Yeah, I got a lot of cardio in. I go, by exercise, did you mean Beat Saber on the PlayStation VR?
Yes, I did.
Which is not technically a fitness game, but it does promote this cardio that you were talking about.
Well, yeah. So, just to rewind a little bit, like I'm very avid with exercise. You know what I mean? Like I exercise. Normally, I exercise. Regularly. I play ice hockey. I usually go to the gym 3 or 4 times a week. So like fitness is very important to me. But I've been injured for the last few months to the point where I really can't do any exercise because it's an abdominal injury.
Oh.
So I haven't been able to go to the gym. I'm no longer allowed to play hockey until this heals.
You're on IR.
Yeah. So like I'm on the IR. I don't know what the Kings are going to do without me, but.
Bring back Gretzky.
Exactly. Yeah, he's not doing anything. But so because I've basically been left with nothing. I can't really do anything because if your core kind of gets involved in any aspect of exercise. And the injury is actually bad enough that I can only do short walks. I can't even do long walks.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I was, and knowing, and if you know me, I don't like to sit still. So it's like I had to find something else to do. And I bought PlayStation VR a couple of months ago, and we did an episode on it, and I started playing Beat Saber. So, but when you look at the first screen that pops up, there's like a warning screen basically, And in the warning screen, it tells you it's like playing Beat Saber can be the equivalent of a cardio workout. And I'm like, really? I was like,
Oh,
it says it right
I
on
didn't know
there.
that. Okay.
Yeah, it actually says it on the screen, something
Huh.
of that nature.
Yeah.
That it's something like your heart elevations will mimic that of a cardio workout. I was like, fine. I was like, and when I first started playing it, I'm like, I didn't understand it because I'm like, I'm playing on easy, medium, even hard. I'm like, okay, this isn't this. I don't know what they're talking about with the cardio
Mm.
workout. Get to the
What
X.
is this cardio?
What is this cardio you speak of? Then I get to play the expert mode. Totally understood. I was like, because there are songs on there. It's like, um, you're going so fast
Mm.
that you're just like by the time you're done, like you're panting, your heart's racing. So I was like, okay. I was like, and this wasn't hurting me at all because I'm like, I'm not really moving my legs. I go, there's a little core stabilization. You got to lean in certain places.
Hmm.
So, but overall, it wasn't really hurting. So I'm like, oh, I was like, I can't do anything else, but I can do this. So I started doing this as a cardio exercise, and now I do it like 5 times a week.
Wow.
So, and I do like a good hour of it. And I'm not kidding you. It's like when I say cardio workout, I mean like playing on expert mode. And now I started playing expert plus.
Oh
Holy
boy.
cow. It's insane. But by the end of the hour, I'm drenched. It is so sweaty, which then brings me to a very important point that I've pointed out before with I think I pointed it out, I don't know, with the VR headset.
Oh yeah. It gets gummy.
Yeah. So keep baby wipes handy.
Yes.
Uh, and which is what I do because as soon as I'm done playing, even if
Mhm.
it's not exercise wise, it's like I clean that sucker like crazy because it gets sweaty.
There you go.
But yeah, Beat Saber is definitely a great cardio workout, and it's an awesome game. So Larry, should you ever get a VR that has Beat Saber on it, I think you'd enjoy it for the actual exercise.
Yeah, I mean, I do have the VR. I just haven't had a chance to completely reset it up
Mm-hmm.
since I've come upstairs, but I will. I'll get to that point soon. But definitely, I mean, I wanted to get Beat Saber before realizing how really active it is, because it just looked cool. But after your experience and you telling me about it, I'm even more interested in it, especially because for me, as you can tell, fitness is not my daily routine, and I'm not, the biggest fan of it. But that's me being me. But the most, I guess, how can I put it, success, yeah, that I ever had in heading in the right direction,
Mm-hmm.
um as far as exercise, as far as health, as far as just losing weight, has been, no joke, using these fitness games, like purpose fitness games. Like We Fit is the biggest example,
Yeah.
and probably the most successful one. Because I've actually heard back in the day when it first came out, there was a lot of success with the We Fit. And yeah, that was probably it. Like that was the last time I actually started getting compliments like, hey, you're starting to lose weight, you're looking better. Because I was doing the We Fit, which had the yoga, which was having you, like, I was running in place, all stuff I hate to do, but I was doing it. And then I got tired of it and stopped, but that's for another podcast. But these games, though, and they're proven track record, and I feel like for maybe those who are listening, those who are watching, who don't want to go to the gym, who don't want to spend that, monthly or yearly subscription to a gym where it would be cheaper just to buy the game, but to utilize it. These games may be the way to go. I think are the way to go.
No, I agree completely. And again, it's one of those things where uh, not everybody like you said, not everybody likes to go to the gym. Granted, I was growing up, I was never a big gym goer. I mean,
Yeah.
that didn't start until my like mid 20s or something like
Hmm.
that. Before that, I wasn't into exercise either. But this whole thing about, I want to live past 50 or whatever,
Hmm.
that starts to come into play. And you're like, well, maybe I should take care of myself a little bit. Okay, fine. But finding an outlet that works for you. So it doesn't, because the gym can be very intimidating.
It could.
If you're not, if you're an introvert, like, cause me, I'm naturally
Hmm.
introverted. I say this as we record a podcast that people watch and listen to, but naturally, like in a public setting, I'm very introverted, and I feel that way even when I go to a regular gym. where I'm surrounded by strangers. So my outlet was I found a gym that does like a group class.
Oh, okay.
So I work in small groups and I know the people there, so I'm more comfortable. But then when it comes to like, if you really don't want to do it, and you're a gamer, the interactivity of it, I feel like is really key here, because you feel like you're still playing video games like you want to, and you're accomplishing goals and everything like that. But you're getting exercise on, which is great. And even as little as like, doctors say like you should exercise at least 30 minutes a day, and that could be something as just taking a walk. Yep. Just as long as you're doing something active 30 minutes a day. So you're talking about a short window of 30 minutes playing a video game that increases your, just that you work out with, which is something you're probably doing anyway. Like I game every day. And when I do, I mean, I'm playing usually a couple of hours. So, okay. You just take 30 minutes out of that, and you work out with a game, and you're all good.
I mean, I guess let's get the legality out of the way. Check with your doctor to make sure you're not pushing yourself.
Well, yeah, that's true. Well, yes, that's true.
Throw that out there.
No, that's always true. I mean, and all the games that have an exercise component will usually say that on the front. You should always consult a physician, especially if you have certain ailments. Yeah, I mean, it's just a really cool way to go. Beat Saber, I think it was last week, I hit I went platinum. I got the platinum.
There you go.
PS4, my first platinum game. So
sweet.
Yeah, all the trophies are mine.
It's funny where a genre that originally just involved you sitting in front of the television is now making you get up and move around. And I think we have, again, I know I can hear people saying, here they go again with Nintendo, but Nintendo's the one I think that kind of probably started it, even way back with the Power Pad. Yeah. I mean, Stadium Event, forget the fact it's like the most expensive game out there to find, the original true Stadium Event, but just that Power Pad alone got you up, got you to move, run in place, do whatever you got to do. And the newer generation of that being the balance board, the Wii balance board.
Yes.
Which came with the Fit. And I remember, when I got Wii Fit, after the initial setup of Wii Fit, where it's calibrating you, and then it insults you, yes. and then you see a visual representation. No, honestly, it's if for those who don't know, what happens is when you first start up Wii Fit, you get on the balance board, or it tells like
we have a guest.
Oh, is that which one?
Who just clawed me?
Oh, hello. You need Wii Fit, sir.
He needs a little Wii Fit, right? But we call that the laser pointer.
Yes, that's true. So Wii Fit will tell you, please step on the board. So I step on the board,
please,
and then you
hear
one
person at a time.
No, almost, because it goes ooh when I step on the board. I was like, what? How dare you? So then it starts to weigh you, essentially. So then it weighs you, and then what happens is it takes your me, which is normally skinny. Yeah. And then all of a sudden you see him go, and he starts to get fatter. And for mine, it took like a minute because it kept I'm like, when is this gonna stop? so now like my me character on my Wii Fit is fat, which makes sense because I'm fat. But I found it very funny. And then that's the character that you see work out on the screen. I'm assuming as if you keep up with it, hopefully he gets skinnier and skinnier. But I'm like, I don't need to be insulted by this machinery that is completely accurate and is 100% in its right to tell me all this.
Well, it's just trying to help you.
No, it was very funny. Yeah. But when the Wii came out and the whole Wii motion controller, which I know a lot of us are like, what is this? This is going to be weird, like, motion. But again, it's kind of like in the back of your mind, even if you're playing the simple games that don't really do too much movement, just the fact that you're moving. I forgot. I know it sounds a little double entendre, but really, I heard someone once said, move is lube. Just the fact of moving means you're moving your joints, you're moving your body, and it keeps you, no matter how much or how little, just as long as you're moving. Right. So that's why I always really thought that the motion controller in the end was a genius idea, because it got you to to move around.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't. Did you own Wii Fit or anything like that? Like, did you
Well,
own any of those?
here's the interesting thing about the Wii. I did not buy a Wii
Oh, that's right. I
because
forgot about
I
that.
remember I didn't buy into the whole.
Yeah.
I don't want to stand in my living room swing controllers in the air. I was like, I really like that's where I was with the Wii. I was like, wait a minute. I go, I wasn't because I wasn't looking at video games in an active way.
I know, but if you now can go back in time and see you, like, what was that, 10 years ago or more than that?
Yeah,
when the Wii...
no, more than that, like 13, 14 years
And
ago.
here you are standing in your living room waving controllers around.
And not only am I waving them around, I'm waving them around violently.
I know.
That Beat Saber game is insane.
I hope you have them attached to your wrists.
Yeah, and you have them attached to your wrists because those suckers can fly. But yeah, no, I remember specifically, I said, I'm not buying a Wii because I want to play video games the traditional way with a controller in my hand. You know? And of course, they eventually came out, with a controller that you can play games with. But at that point, I had never wound up buying it.
Yeah.
Turned out to be one of the best-selling consoles of all time because it was geared towards families and fitness. But I will say that my roommate had the Wii, and she had the Wii Fit. So I tried using it at the time. Mm-hmm. I tried using it at the time very unsuccessfully. I think I maybe tried Wii Fit like 2 or 3 times. But what I found interesting was on the Wii, you know how you made your Mii character?
Yes.
You were able to make a Mii character for your pets. So
really?
Yeah. So at the time, I had 2 different cats, but
yeah,
I had
finally attacked me.
Yes. No, not that one. That was my sister's cat.
She was with her sister. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So my other 2 cats, I made them Mii characters on my friend's Wii, and then you were able to take their weight because what they would do is you would take the Wii Fit board.
Yeah. You
would stand on it to get your human weight, and then they would tell you to pick up the cat, and then they would do the difference.
I don't remember this at all.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and of course, one of my cats was nice and slender, and the other one was a little chubby.
Yeah, yeah.
So
a little bit of an issue there.
Yeah, but you touched on something interesting I want to go back to before the Wii. And yes, we talk about Nintendo, but when you think about it, Nintendo was the first one, I think, also that came out with something fitness related for home. We're not talking arcade, but the Power Pad.
Yep.
And I don't remember. I didn't have a Power Pad. I remember a friend had it.
Yeah, my uncle actually had it. I never had it.
And he brought it over for stadium events, and there were a couple of other games that used it. I forgot which.
Track and field, I think.
Track and field. Wasn't there like not 3D runner, like something runner, where it was basically you were running, but it wasn't a side scroller.
I'm looking at maybe I'm looking at a list of games that really took advantage of it, which are mostly just running games. Mostly, but actually, real quick, I don't mean to cut, but you'll go back to what you're saying. I just want to say I didn't realize there was a lot of in Japan. The Famicom actually had some good like dance aerobic, jogging race, interesting stuff.
Well, the Famicom in Japan had so many things that we didn't, because remember that system ran until 2001.
No, but I'm saying these are late 80s. But still, would have been within the lifespan.
I have a feeling that what happened in the States is it didn't catch on, so they didn't really. I think so too. They didn't really invest money into it. They were just like, oh, fat Americans don't want to exercise.
I was going to say,
we're not making games for them. No fitness games for you.
But so you were saying about the Power Pad.
Yeah, but the Power Pad, like, I feel like that was one of the first ones that came out, and and not to knock Sega at all. I was like, but Sega did make their attempt at it with the Activator. Do you remember the Activator?
Yes, I didn't have it, but yeah.
Yeah, the Activator. So the Activator was like an octagonal pad that you put on the floor, and you plugged it in, and basically you used that for fighting games like Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter.
Yeah.
And you would actually stand in the middle of it, and it was supposed to track your moves. Now, it didn't track very well, but the byproduct of it was you felt like you were fighting in the game, but also at the same time you felt like you were exercising. And I think it also worked. It worked on every game essentially because it was just a human. You were the control. So if you played like a boxing game or something like that, they were able. There were other games that you were able to use it with. It was just not successful because it didn't read you well enough.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I've tried some other activity games, or is it called Exer games? Games. I had EA Sports Active, which I thought was also really good, on par with Wii Fit. There was no balance because that was available on different systems. But what happened was you would have like these sensors. You would attach one to your arm, one to your leg, I think. And then it may have worked in conjunction with like the PlayStation Eye or Kinect, maybe. No, I think you can use them on your own, like without that. And then that again gave the sense of motion, so you were getting some sort of feedback. Kinect was perfect for that because it would just scan you and it would track you. But then, the balance board, as much as for exercise, you could have used it for regular games as well. Like there was some games like Tetris. There was a version of Tetris you could use the balance board. So I think there was a skateboarding game you could have used it. So again, where the object's not for exercise, but it's happening anyway. Let's talk about a series though, one that I know you enjoyed, and I think you had the pad for it, Dance Dance Revolution.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up.
Okay.
I had, and I actually still have Dance Dance Revolution, the game. I don't have the pad anymore because I think they broke a long time ago. But Dance Dance Revolution for the Sega Dreamcast, I had, and not only did I have the pad for it, I had two because it was a 2-player game.
Oh, did you have two? I don't remember that.
I had two.
Oh, wow.
And I did not have the thin pad. I had the hard plastic.
You did. I remember that.
Remember when you
did.
actually had to put the pieces in?
You went all in on that one.
I went all in on that because I was like, you know what? I go, this is how I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to play this. And guess what? Game. Yeah, it was a fun game. But in terms of those pads, they broke really easily.
Yeah, it's
unfortunately
sign of the times.
Yeah.
Today, like and also another good one, Just Dance. That's a current series that's been running for a while.
Yeah, it's been running. I think a new one just came out too.
Yeah, 2019
coming out.
Yeah, I mean I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah, they do one every year.
Yep, Just Dance now. That's cool.
Yeah, they do one every year, and again, it's one of those things. It's like you're standing in your living room and you're dancing. I'm like, so they're finding smart ways for people to exercise with video games by mimicking things that we like to do. Like people love to dance. People like to run. People love music. So taking all of those elements and building them into games, it's just smart.
Absolutely. And I know there's two more I want to mention. One, I'm going to kind of cross mention this as well because we haven't had a chance to really talk about this, me and you. And I know it's a little off topic, but it rolls back in. First of all, real quick, did you see the Nintendo Online offer where they are selling for $100 the two like Nintendo Online coupons or online tickets? Have you seen this?
No, I didn't see that.
So what it is if you have Nintendo Online on the Switch, I think they're still doing it. For $100, you buy these two tickets, $100. What happens is they are good for two Nintendo games, Nintendo Switch games, not necessarily Nintendo, but Nintendo, like Nintendo first party. Yeah. But they're good for two Nintendo games, I think, that are priced over $50. So in other words, you spend $100, you could technically get two games and save $20 in the end.
Oh, nice.
Because you redeem the ticket for a game.
Right.
In the long run, I think it's a good idea because if you're gonna buy, and this, I'm like, basically all the Nintendo first party games, including Super Mario Maker 2, is part of it. And actually, maybe this would be interesting. Ultimate Alliance 3 is one of the games you can redeem it for as well.
Ooh.
You don't have to redeem it now.
Right.
So
that's good.
Yeah, so if you buy games that are $60, you save $20 in the long run. So I bought it, well worth it. I'm saving one ticket for Ultimate Alliance actually when it comes out. But what I bought was there's a game on the Switch called Fitness Boxing, which is a boxing, basically more of a boxing motion, which if you played Wii Fit, they had a good boxing part in the game. So I feel like, to me, that's probably, I'll be more into. I just got it. I didn't get a chance to play it yet. So that was one of the tickets I redeemed for. And then Nintendo put it out. So I'm really looking forward to it, to get it going with the Joy-Con and everything. It looks interesting. And you can do like quick. Like it doesn't take too much time. So we'll see how that goes. But definitely check out those online tickets. Very cool.
Yeah, I'll keep an eye out for that.
Yeah. The other thing is I found this funny. When Pokemon GO came out.
Yeah. I was going to bring that up.
Okay. So Pokemon GO, phenomenon that it was, still is today. People are still playing it.
Yep.
I remember going to Atlantic City and there was an old Japanese man and I'm not trying to be funny. He was an old Japanese man, and he was walking around the Borgata playing Pokemon Go. Like he was like, I guess there was like a lot of big time Pokemon by the high rollers table, because they kept trying to
casino themed Pokemon.
Well, they kept trying to like, sir, put your phone away, because you know you can't have your phone out usually around those games. But he just kept walking. But the funniest thing about Pokemon Go, when it first, like that first week that it came out, everyone complained. First of all, the tracking, like the amount of miles that was tracked was like beyond expectation. All these people going out and playing Pokemon. But the biggest complaint about the game was, my legs are killing me. Because all these kids who aren't used to going out and walking around were going out and walking around.
Yep. And you know what? And that's exactly what it was designed to do. Exactly. So, and you know, there are a lot of, if you go online, there are a lot of success stories about how people use Pokemon Go as a motivator to start, you know, getting in shape, losing weight, because they were walking all over the place. I mean, I remember at the time that I was playing Pokemon Go, I was training for a half marathon. And my friend and I both downloaded it because we were training together. And so while we were training, we would turn it on and we would run with it. And, you know, whenever we would take a break, we would look at the screen to see if there was anything around the catch. And then we would just pick up and go again. But we were like covering, you know, excess of like, you know, 6, 8, 10, 12 miles.
There you go.
Over the course of, you know, either a run or a few runs in the week. So like, yeah, I put a lot of mileage into that game.
Maybe I'll download it and stop playing, especially now that you can carry over Pokemon to the new Pokemon games. So
yeah, that's what I heard. So like, yeah, and that's the other thing too. It's like they're making it more enticing for Pokemon players because now they're tying it into the other Pokemon games.
That reminds me, I got to watch. There was a conference that they had a couple days ago announcing some new Pokemon mobile games. Friend of mine watches. It was pretty good. I'm going to go and watch that. And I think they're doing
Is that the Pokemon Fusion game? I had a friend of mine talking to me about it.
Or is that maybe there's like Pokemon Home, Pokemon Sleep. I think there's Pokemon Fusion. But
yeah, Pokemon Sleep I heard about, which I don't agree with.
I'm trying to figure out how that one works.
No, I just don't agree with it because it's something that like it's hard enough to get into a good REM sleep as it is, but now you're saying that there's going to be a video game that's like tracking your sleep and like sure. you're playing it in your sleep. I'm like,
I think it's just all Snorlax.
It would make sense.
And then of course the next generation Pokemon games that are coming out. I think there's actually a Pokemon Direct that's coming out this week if it's not out already. Then of course gearing up for E3, which mentioned our E3 special is going to be coming up very soon. I think maybe next week. I lost track of time.
No,
maybe 2 weeks.
E3 is going to be. Oh yeah, well it depends when we record it because E3 is going to be happening next week. I think it's the 9th or the 13th or the 11th,
so
or 13th, whatever it is.
Probably we'll be afterwards. So we'll give
probably
you some
2 weeks. Yeah, like 2 weeks from this episode, we'll be covering E3, and we'll see if they have any exercise games in there.
Yeah, maybe. And
and speaking of the boxing, just really quickly to go back to it because you were talking about the boxing game.
Yep.
PlayStation VR has Rocky VR.
Oh.
And you can play against every character in the Rocky universe, basically.
Tell your woman, call me.
Yeah, I played it at my friend's house, and I got my butt kicked by Ivan Drago.
There you go. Oh man, if I could change, you could change. We all could change.
Punch. Shut up.
And now he's Rambo again. So. Let us know if you tried out any of these exercise games. Let us know if you have any success with these exercise games. Definitely hit us up on the Facebook, on the Instagram, email us, because we definitely would like to hear your success story, because I feel like it's finally coming back around, to get in shape, fitness, to think about the long run here. All right, Ant. So we haven't done one of these in a while. Canceled retro game.
Yeah, cancel retro game, and not only have we not done this in a while, but you're driving the bus on this one.
I am. So we're gonna
crash.
Crash, exactly. This is interesting because I kind of maybe thought this was good. Like we'd already seen this game, but no. Former Rare developer actually discussed some details about a canceled sequel to Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Wow. Okay.
See, I was thinking like the locked and loaded version on Xbox 360, which I know is more of a, or Xbox, was more of a, like a remake of Bad Fur Day. But no, there looks like there was going to be like a direct sequel to the N64 version of this crazy game that was kind of a sequel to a kid's game, which is still hysterical.
Well, yeah, well, which isn't really a kid's game.
Not anymore. So it was basically Conker's Other Bad Day is what it was going to be called. And, you know, spoiler alert, basically it picks up right where the game ended. Conker, he's the emperor of the known universe. But, of course, all hell's going to break loose at this point. So what happens is the game would have been broken down into like 4 chapters.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, in details here, we're getting this from NintendoLife.com. You can definitely check out in detail. You can check out some drawings, some renderings of some of these characters, like the very dead Panther King. Death at one point, you know, definitely becomes a big antagonist in this game.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah. And then with the 4 chapters, basically there's like 3 mini chapters, and then the main story of the game. You're escaping death. You are escaping what's called the Death Starfish.
Nice.
You know, it's crazy. Some of the, like, they go deeper into this where I think it's not as much like where it was in your face shocking, where like it really started to become like hardcore in a way.
Okay.
Here's a part and again, the game's never coming out, so really no spoiler part. Going to jump ahead to what would have been the 3rd chapter, where Conker ends up escaping from what was called the basement. He kills off Death with a bunch of cats. Curious how that would have worked.
Nice. Well, Death's afraid of cats.
And banishing the Panther King. Nice. Conker returns to his throne, planned for the royal wedding, and with Bunny the Rabbit. And as the end credits start to roll, I'm quoting from the website, the castle begins to shake, and Conker yells out at the programmers to stop the credits as he rushes over to the window to investigate. And so it's very meta as well.
That's kind of awesome.
That's pretty cool. So so this is pretty interesting. You know, check it out. There was different levels: Castletown, Windmill Land, Cheesy, which I like that kingdom. That sounds pretty fun.
Oh, sounds delicious.
But mostly there's a part here. It's like this diagram. Almost looks like when you go into the room of like a serial killer who's got all the lines around and like catching up people. This is like the different branching services that this game was going to plan to get into was weird, man. It was crazy.
Well, you know, but the whole idea with Conker is like it was a crazy game.
Exactly.
Like, you know, it was a very mature game for the N64, and it came out really late in the life cycle there. It was one of those too little, too late things. I think Nintendo wound up trying to appeal to a more adult audience at the time, but
true. It worked for a little bit, but I don't know how the sequel would have been.
Yeah, exactly. So, but it would be great. You know, we always hear about games like this being completed today, and another Conker game to me would be a blast.
Maybe we will with this Kickstarter. Who knows?
Yeah, we'll see.
So check it out. Conker's Other Bad Day is this week's canceled game. All right, so we're gonna start to wrap this up. I gotta go take a shower.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, just walking. Forget about it. Burns up a sweat. So we got some news here, though. I want to talk about. Actually, funny enough, got another canceled game. Unseen footage of EarthBound 64.
Yeah,
came out online. This is pretty cool.
Yeah, and if you haven't played EarthBound, it's available on the SNES Classic. If you which are rapidly selling out, by the way. There have been articles saying that whatever's in stores right now, that's the end of them. And in fact, the SNES Classic, even at like Walmart and stuff like that, it's going for like $115 or $120 now.
Even at Walmart, that seems.
Yeah. Whoever has it left have been upcharging it because they're out of them.
Huh.
They're running out of them.
That's weird.
So if you haven't bought one yet, this is your last chance.
Get on it. All right, so from YouTube channel Cocoon. Whoa, all right. I mean, Cocoon. Kukun. Yeah, put up this video of what's called Mother over in Japan. You know, it's a band playing at a bar. Ness walking through a forest. Ends up in a desert. and then Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time pops up. But it kind of looks. Some of the scenes look like it's from Star Wars.
Oh wow!
The way it is. So now, granted, back in 2013, Shinjiro Miyamoto and Satoru Iwata talked about this game, saying that like 30% of the final product was complete. Miyamoto said about 60% of the game was basically ready to go. So this game was close to being made.
Yeah, and it's always disappointing when they get that far along when they stop it. And I'm assuming again, it fell by the wayside because the Nintendo 64 was just on its way out, and we had the GameCube coming. But that's the type of thing where it's like if you're that far along with a game, like I would have maybe made the effort to make it for the next gen system.
Well, I mean, let's clear up something here. Now we're talking again, Mother 64, EarthBound 64 on the N64. Now, yes. Mother 64, well, I keep saying that because it comes out as Mother 3, which actually did come out on the Game Boy Advance in 06, but it wasn't this like N64 3D version. That's really what we're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I'm saying, like, when they got that far along in development, you're talking about 50, 60%. If you were abandoning it because the N64 life cycle was coming to the end, why not just adjust it and up it for the GameCube?
But it's funny, like, again, some of the scenes here looks like a canteen. I know they're not, I don't think they were really going for a Star Wars look, but it looks like they're in the cantina. It looks like the Blues Brothers are playing in the cantina for some reason. So
interesting.
And like a pod race. So yeah, check that out. EarthBound 64. Something else here that we'll talk about, and then we'll actually start to wrap this up. It's hysterical how quickly more games are being announced for this thing that we mentioned only a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
3 new collections are coming out for this handheld Evercade system.
Yep, and I think the reason why the announcements are coming out so quickly is, again, everybody's trying to jump into the retro game business. And I feel like the competition is starting to get fierce. Like, we did the Polymega review last week, or the Q&A that I did last week. There's that little handheld Playdate one that has the crank on it.
Yeah,
that's coming out. You have all these classics, the Sega Classic, which, by the way, they're going to be announcing the last 10 games for that, I think, this week. For the Sega Genesis Classic.
Oh, this week. Okay, hopefully.
Yeah, I think so. So we'll talk about that, of course, when it comes out. But everybody's trying to be the one, and Evercade's really, they're playing ball.
No, they are, and I'm really liking it. So here are the new collections. We've spoken about the previous ones weeks past. So first of all, we have basically an Atari Collection 2, and these are more 7,800 games along with 2,600 games. Some noticeable ones to talk about: Basket Brawl, Yar's Revenge, Centipede, Asteroid, Millipede. We have those. Radar Lock. I remember Radar Lock. That was a fun
Radar Lock.
Yep. And Desert Falcon, Haunted House. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15. So 20 games coming out on that one. Nice. So more on there. Interplay has already announced a second collection of games, and these are all officially licensed games. 6 games I can mention real quick. So Claymates, Clay Fighter 2, nice. Judgment Clay. I love that one. Earthworm Jim 2. The Brainies, which I think I remember the Brainies.
Oh, that one I don't know.
The Adventures of Red Gravity and Prehistoric Man.
Okay.
And the one I'm really going to love is Namco is getting in on the action.
Yes, that's the one that got me excited when I saw that.
So this one's got a collection. There we are. So it's got, and all these games are classics. Galaxian, Pac-Man, Xevious, Mappy, Dig Dug, Star Luster. I don't remember that one.
That one I don't remember either.
Libble Rabble. I don't remember also.
Don't know that one.
It's a weird one. Quad Challenge, Metal Marines, Battle Cars, Mappy Kids.
Oh.
Which I guess was a sequel. I never heard of that one.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
I want it.
those are coming out. The system again is going to be about 20. No, I'm sorry. The cartridges are about $20 each.
Mm-hmm.
The system's going to be coming out later on. I think I want to say during the summer or something.
I think so, and I don't know if it's just
Fourth quarter.
no, but is it just Europe or is it getting a US release? That's the
It
question.
should because it's got it's $80.
Okay, so it's coming out for $80.
Yeah.
All right, that's pretty good.
Yeah, and I think like 100, and you get like the 2 original collections that were announced.
Yes.
The Data East and the Interplay.
Yes. So very cool.
So definitely check that out. And then the final thing I want to mention, because they confirmed the final set of games. We did post this on the page on the Facebook page, but Konami has announced the complete set of Contra games that are going to be coming out.
Oh,
for the
that's right. I forgot we posted that this week. Yeah,
we did. So just to talk about it, and this one's got, I mean, 8 games, but some of them are just like the European versions, so it comes out to more. But let's go through it. Contra for both the arcade version and the NES version. Finally.
Yes.
Like I said, the only other time I ever saw Contra on the NES to be re-released was on Contra 4 on the DS, which, by the way, is a fantastic game. Mm-hmm. Also Contra for the Famicom, which is a little different than our North American version.
Yes, because the Famicom one, I think, had cutscenes.
Had a little bit of cutscenes.
Yeah, even similar to the arcade.
The opening was different. Like, it was just more animated. It was crazy. Super Contra arcade version.
Mm-hmm.
Super C on the NES that we're all familiar with. Operation C on the Game Boy, a fantastic Game Boy game. That's a good one. Contra 3 Alien Wars from Super Nintendo. Contra Hardcore for Genesis. Probotector, which is the Mega Drive version of that game. And Super Probotector, Alien Rebels on Super NES, which is, again, kind of like the PAL version of, and the Japanese version of Contra, where they weren't as much humans, they were robots that you actually played with and chose.
Nice.
I cannot wait for these games to come out. There's still no release date, but I got to imagine within the next month. This is the one I've been looking for.
Yeah, no. This is definitely going to be one of the highlights. Like that Contra collection. Like they made sure that was going to be solid.
It's going to be awesome.
No question.
Probotector, I just want to mention it. European, not Japanese. I apologize. The European releases.
Good to know. And then I got a couple of news bits that just popped in my head actually that I heard last week. Before we go, one is that Konami released the Castlevania Anniversary Collection last week, didn't they? So that's now
a few weeks ago.
No, I thought there was. I read something that they would. I thought maybe they added something to it. I don't know, but
here's what they did. No, I know what you're talking about. So the Castlevania Collection was released a few weeks ago. What they're doing is they're giving a free update, as far as I know, specifically with Bloodlines. Mm-hmm. Because they're going to release like the Japanese and the European versions of the game, which do look a little different. I think the Japanese version is a little more bloodier, if you will, than our version that we got here in North America. Yeah, absolutely. So that I don't know when that update goes into effect. I don't think it's happened yet. But it's, it's kind of like how like the Castlevania Dracula X version on the PC Engine in Japan is phenomenal, but the one that we got on the Super Nintendo was like a little toned down and not as good as that PC Engine version, which, again, the only way you were able to download that was on the Wii Virtual Console, which is no longer available. Right. So,
okay,
that should be that should be cool.
Very cool. And then the last bit that I wanted to say is that the Sony released their free games in June for PlayStation Plus. Subscribers, and one of the games that's available on there is Sonic Mania.
Yes, I meant to. Yeah, you good call on that one. Yes. That is a big time game. Do you own Sonic Mania?
I don't.
Well, you're going too soon.
Well, yeah, if it's available right now, actually, after we're done recording, I'm going to go download it. So.
The Sonic Mania is fantastic. It is a total throwback to the original games. I mean, it's worth the price. Don't get me wrong. It's totally worth buying, but if you get it for free, why not?
Yeah.
So that's cool. So definitely check it out if you have PlayStation.
What else you got for news?
Also, which I look into a little, I'm just going to mention real quick. Apparently, they're re-releasing Call of Duty Modern Warfare on the PS4. I just started seeing these literally a couple of days ago.
Interesting.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, they re-released Modern Warfare 4 when the newer Call of Duty came out a couple years ago. like an updated graphics version, which I heard was amazing. Actually, people bought the new Modern Warfare just to get access to the redone Modern Warfare 4.
Okay.
And the first Modern Warfare I remember was phenomenal. So that's going to be cool for an update. And, it's fun. All this stuff is starting to pop in now. It's popping in my head.
Yep.
Also just announced is the remastered Ghostbusters video game.
Yes, I saw that.
That came out of nowhere.
Yeah, I had no idea. Yeah, I mean, just one of those things where all of a sudden they were like, "Hey, we're redoing this."
Did you play that game originally?
I did not, but I really wanted to. It was one of those games that I really wanted to play, just didn't get around to it.
So they're redoing the original NES Ghostbusters. No, I'm kidding. They're redoing the 360 game. 360 PS3. So this one's going to be available on Xbox One, PS4, the Switch. I said this may be one of the few games that I'm probably going to buy on either the PS4 or the Xbox One to take advantage of that 4K aspect. But I would love to get it on the Switch. And again, bing, popping in my head, and then we'll end it because we're going to have to end it. DLC for Mortal Kombat 11.
Yes,
it's starting to come out. One of the big names, Shang Tsung, is going to be released.
I saw that. And not only that, but Shang Tsung looks like the Mortal Kombat actor.
I was about to say, and forgive me, I don't have his name in front of me, but yeah, from the Mortal Kombat movie. I mean, the guy's been in tremendous movies. I do want to give him credit. So while I'm talking here, I'll look him up. I'm pretty sure he's voicing him as well because it sounds just like him.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and and my iPhone is crashing. This is fantastic. So, and there's going to be some other characters. I think there's about 8 characters that were announced, but then 2 special characters will be announced later. But if you listen closely, you hear a noise, and then you see a blood splatter on the screen. And the noise sounds like a chainsaw. And not only that, for some reason, Bruce Campbell, of all people, retweeted the Mortal Kombat DLC video. Oh. If we get Ash from Evil Dead, as I mentioned this, I'm getting tingles and I'm getting because Evil Dead.
Yep.
And I'm fanboying. I apologize.
No, I know. But this wouldn't be Ash's first appearance in or guesting in a game because he just showed up in Dead by Daylight.
Did he really?
Yeah, like a month or 2 ago. Yeah.
What? As a playable character, he can't be the villain.
No, he's a survivor. So he's playing against the villain, against the killers. Yeah, and it's really cool because he doesn't have the chainsaw hand, but he's got his mechanical hand. Oh, but then for extra download content for $5, you can buy the Ash puppet that goes on his hand instead of the mechanical hand. So it's an Ash puppet that you're running around with. It's really funny.
Oh man, that'd be awesome if they had Evil Ash as the villain in that one.
Yeah, that's what that's what I actually wanted them to do, but they didn't do it. No. Really quickly, the actor from Mortal Kombat who played Shang Tsung was Kari Hiroyuki Tagawa.
There we go. I want to give him a shout out. Absolutely.
Yes. And then really quickly, one other real bit is that next week at E3, Square, I think it's Square that announced that there is an Avengers game that they've been working on. There were rumors about this a couple of years ago. But now
rumors at least.
Now the information has finally been confirmed that they're going to make some major announcements about this Avengers game they've been working on, and supposedly they're saying it's going to be one of those games where it's got where you can kind of build your characters over time. It's like it plays like Destiny.
Oh wow!
So
that'd be cool.
So this is going to be where everybody's expecting big news out of that one from Square. So we'll see what happens with that.
And you know what? Finally, that's it. Finally, this is it. Done.
No,
and then we're going to end the podcast. Okay, fine. Also about E3, Matt Groening and the people from The Simpsons are going to be there for some reason. We may get a new Simpsons game, I got to imagine, and hopefully it's going to be as good. The last one that came out in 2012, I want to say. No, earlier than that. Was phenomenal. The Simpsons game was phenomenal, and it really made up for a lot of the older ones. Even though Hit and Run and Road Rage were fun.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that announcement. And then what's yours?
So Behavior, the company Behavior that is responsible for Dead by Daylight, they had their 3-year anniversary last week. And they did every anniversary they do a whole live stream, and it was like a 2.5 hour live stream basically talking about how they're going to update the game and everything like that. But earlier in May, it had already leaked that the game is getting a new killer, and it's getting Ghostface from Scream.
Yeah, I do remember that. Yes, actually, I think they announced. Was that even at the Video Game Awards? Maybe?
They might have announced it back then. But there's a cool little like preview animation.
Oh, now there's a preview. Okay.
Yeah, there's like a preview animation of him that's really fun. He's walking through like a Home Depot shopping, and he's like picking up like rope and knives and stuff, and then he kills the cashier. It's really cool.
You get to play Sydney?
No, it's just they're just coming. Only Ghostface is coming out. They're not releasing a survivor with him. But that's what I thought. I was like, oh, you need like either Sydney or Drew Barrymore's character or something, but they're not doing that. So, but Ghostface is going to be in the new download for awesome. Dead by Daylight. Which then brings me to, as we're now going to close up, I thought what would be a really interesting thing to just hit right at the end of our episodes.
Yeah.
Games you played last week, and just even rattling off, like, what are you currently playing, Larry? Last week, like, what did you hit up?
You know what's funny? Everyone always asks me this. And like whenever people ask me, I'm always like dumbfounded to answer. I've been playing Tetris 99 with the new skin, with the Game Boy skin. Nice. I absolutely love that. And actually, it's funny. I downloaded a bunch of shoot 'em ups, psycho shoot 'em ups as they're called, like those crazy bullet hell games. Oh, so nice. I've been playing like Gunbird 2, Striker 1945. So I've been playing a lot of that lately. So cool. That's Very My cool. Switch is getting a lot of heavy duty work being done.
All right. All right, cool. I just thought a nice little thing.
No, what have you been playing besides Beat Saber? What have you been playing?
Beat Saber is my exercise game. So last week I was playing Beat Saber, Dead by Daylight, because I play with friends. It's my social game. Let's see, what else was I playing? White Day, A Labyrinth Called School.
Oh, okay. So we talked about that.
I'm playing through that game. Really good horror adventure kind of game. So there's not anything in terms of like, it's not like a Resident Evil kind of thing. It's more I don't know how to explain it. Kind of like if you go all the way back to like a Seventh Guest or something like that. It's like you're just basically uncovering a story. But I will say, there were a couple of jump scares in there that actually got me, nice. Which was really good. So kudos to White Day. And then I'm also playing Clue on the Nintendo Switch.
Yes.
Which has been really fun because I'm just an old school Clue fan. And it's great because it's like a good 15-20 minutes per game. And I'm trying out all the boards and the different characters. So they did a good job with that. And then last but not least, I'm playing a new game on PlayStation 4 called The Witness. And The Witness, it's a puzzle-based game. The developer who made the game Braid back on Xbox 360, which was a phenomenal game, made this game. The reviews for it are outstanding. It literally is you're just walking around on this big island, coming across puzzles that you need to solve. There's no big rhyme or reason to it yet, no big story. It may just be like it's a very relaxing, mentally challenging game, is what it is. Cool. And it's just fun. It's like I find it's great for me in downtime when I want to just chill. I just walk around this very serene island and I find puzzles that I need to solve. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Myst too, if you remember Myst.
Okay. No, absolutely.
This series. And I believe that is everything I am playing at the moment.
Fantastic. So with that, we're going to bring this into port. Again, remember, you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, at Retro Gamers Podcast. Our website, theretrogamers.com. And where can they email us?
They can email us at email@theretrogamers.com.
And of course, you can find us iTunes, Spreaker, wherever you listen to podcasts. Podcoin. Check out Podcoin. You actually earn points for listening to podcasts. It's actually pretty cool.
Oh, very cool. You can watch us on YouTube.
Exactly. You can watch us on YouTube at Retro Gamers Podcast. Mm-hmm. And as always, 5-star review, please, definitely on iTunes, actually anywhere. If you have iTunes, do it on iTunes. Yeah, I was going to say, Apple Podcasts, we'll call it that.
Yes.
If you can't, do it on Spreaker, do it on YouTube, do those thumbs up for us, subscribe, whether you're watching or listening. So definitely get us out there. And of course, with the other podcasts we have here, Yin and Yang podcast every Friday, the Better F podcast every other Wednesday, talking more wrestling whenever I feel like doing it. And with that, Ant, enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you, sir. And we will catch you right here next week on the Retro Gamers Podcast.